What's up? What's up? What's up? Tuesdays with Tamoa. Let me move this camera up some. I feel like it's just way too far back. And my light is out, y'all. My light ain't working right. But we gonna work it. We gonna work it. How you feeling today? How is everybody doing today? So I have been thinking so much about relationships, which I think of quite often, and I really believe the reason why I think about relationships so much and I talk about relationships so much is because I just want to get it right, right? Like I feel like most of us we just want to get this thing right, and it is not an easy situation at all. You have two people from two different backgrounds, two different lives, two different traumas, two different ways of handling things, two different communication styles, two different mindsets about money and finances and kids and all the things. But what I really been thinking about is, despite all of the differences, like when you know it's right, I assume that it's right. And I feel like if that's the case, and I believe that we were definitely made to have partnership, right? To have someone, um, or maybe multiple partners. I don't know, depending on who that is, that we, walk life with. That we walk the journey with one way or another. So, why is it really when it comes to finances that we don't want to talk to our partners? Like we do all the things. We get married, or we get in a serious relationship, we raise kids, we have children, um we buy assets, and we do all of these things together, but we really don't want to talk about the money at the end of the day. I know this is not all couples, but the truth of the matter is it's got to be some couples, because at the end of the day, we know that divorce and breaking up is the money, financial issues is one of the top five reasons. So there's got to be something going on with that, right? We're not all doing it the way that it should be done. So are we lying to ourselves, or are we lying to our partner, right? What is financial intimacy? We really need to discover what that is. I honestly think that sometimes we don't really know what intimacy is, right? Because intimacy itself, I know when people think about intimacy, they immediately think about sex, but intimacy is just a sacred bond. I feel like it's a movement, it's a flow that you have with your significant other, with your partner. It's something that you can't really put into words. It's like a synchronicity that you have, and it makes you feel so aligned, um, about everything. You I don't believe that you can have intimacy in one area and not have intimacy in another. Communication is intimacy. And if you really value your communication, if you value your relationship, then you should really have financial intimacy. I think that we get so stuck because we have fear and we're scared to talk about money. But the bottom line is we have to talk about money and be able to pay bills, to be able to raise children, to be able to afford the things that we want. It's like, what? It doesn't make any sense. Why aren't we talking to our partner about money? What is that? Um, I know for me, in my relationship, it was a real issue, and it was a sore spot. I remember almost sometimes just feeling like just uneasy, like sick, and then I'd be angry, and then I'd be frustrated. And the thing is, while he may have had the money habits that he had, it was really a reflection of me because I was only going by what I saw as a child. Not just in my household, but in other families' households, and just the way that I just saw money and what happened to us, it built a fear. My parents break down to be able to talk about their finances, especially they had a downturn, and they lost a lot. And that fear, that fear for me to want to control everything, if I could just control it. But that was absolutely wrong. It's not the way to go. But in context, it was all that I knew. So wanting to have control over everything, it put a financial burden on me, thinking that if I talked to my partner about it, then somehow he would blame me for issues that we had with our finances when there wasn't enough money, or what we were doing, or how I was budgeting, or whatever the all of that I built up in my head. And the fact of the matter, it was my narrative that I was telling myself. And really, he wasn't holding anything against me, but I had built all that up so that when it was time to talk about the money, I already had some type of resentment or anger or an easiness or just being upset about it, because it was all in my head, because I blamed myself. So I felt like if something wasn't going right, then he would blame me. Then I feel shame. Then I feel hurt. And then I just just stop talking. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we want to cause that type of pain to ourselves and to our partners in our relationships when it comes to money? I mean, if we really think about it, we we can talk about all these different things. It doesn't make sense that we take the money conversation and put it in another space. I honestly think the reason why we do that is because of how we look at ourselves with money. We assume that our partners are going to look at us the same way. The way that, maybe we spend money, the way that um, we we don't quite know how to purchase things, or we don't quite know how to make ends meet. We're just like on autopilot doing the things that we've always done. But what I have come to find out is when we have the money, we love the money. When we don't have the money, we don't love the money. And then we end up blaming ourselves for a lot of it. We build up anxiety when it comes to thinking about money, when we even sometimes think about paying our bills. So I get that this can lead to the silent treatment for us to discuss this with our partner, because we are so worried about how our partner is going to look at us. But if we really want to be able to have a long lasting relationship, we have to start talking about money. We cannot allow just one person to do all the heavy lifting when it comes to making sure that we are financially sound. I definitely believe that there has to be an agreement. Yes, the other person may be stronger, or have more education or knowledge about finances and budgeting. That's great, but I do not believe that the other partner should not be knowing what's going on and just entrust their partner to do everything. That is definitely unfair. So, one thing that I do know is the next relationship that I get in, it's going to look different for me. Yes, later on, in my marriage, before I divorced, things started changing. I was able to learn how to communicate better and understand that not communicating was affecting our marriage in such a huge way, because the one thing about it is not communicating about money. Then if things are going awry, then you stop communicating about so many other things in your relationship. but it's all the same thing. So, having better communication and really being honest with your partner and being transparent about how you think about money, your fears around money, even talking about how you grew up. You have to let the shame go, because at the end of the day, if that person is with you and they're supposed to be with you and this is the commitment that you've made to each other, then that shouldn't be a problem, because guess what? They have their stuff too. They have their financial money trauma and things that have happened to them and the way that they think about money. But how wonderful could it be if both of you actually learn from each other instead of isolating each other when it comes to talking about your finances? I know that talking about your finances way at the beginning with someone that you're dating, someone that you're really thinking about, creating this partnership with and walking through life with, it has to be done as soon as possible, right at the beginning when you make the decision to be together. Because just think of how easier your relationship could be if you communicated this at the beginning. And then as time went on and things evolved, you guys set goals for each other, set goals for, like, it would free up so much. I think about like little things to argue about and and be like, oh, did you spend this? Oh, I see you spent this with the, with the checking account or whatever the case. You swiped your debit card 1,200 times. Oh, you went and you purchased something on the credit card for $2,000. Whatever the case is, like, we have got to start talking about these things because they are literally tearing our relationships up. I have seen so many couples like fight at each other's throats because they're not talking about money. It's got to stop, because we deserve more. We deserve more from one another. We cannot continue to let the same cycles just go. Then what are our kids watching us do? What impact is this having on them when it comes to setting them up with relationships and finances and just their mindset around money? Thinking that money causes fights, money causes disagreements, money causes all kinds of things to happen, because that's what I saw mommy and daddy do. We can't continue the same cycle. And the thing is, if you have one partner that has more knowledge and education around finances and understanding that, then why wouldn't it be that partner's responsibility to help the other one out? Instead of just, having blame around it or shame around it or just not wanting to do that. Like, relationships are work. Like, we want to get in relationships and we want everything to be great and no, it is a constant work. You have to set realistic goals with one another. Like, you really should be setting up meetings to discuss your finances. Make it into a date. Make it into like a date night. Don't make it like so stuffy and tense. It can be fun. Like, it can be fun to really look at the goals that you have set for each other and working through how you want to structure your finances and your budget and, the things that you want to do. It just really takes a load off. So I I just really want to really motivate people to do that, so that they can have much happy, excuse me, and healthier relationships. Because at the end of the day, if you've chosen to be with someone, you've got to do the work to make it right. Like, you've got to do the work to continue. One person has got to be like, look, enough is enough. Look, this is what we need to do. If we want to be together, we got to do the work. We cannot allow money to be the issue between us anymore. And really, it's not the money, it's really your own beliefs that you have around money. That is the barrier between the two of you, is really your beliefs and your mindset around money. I have Me and the team, we created a financial love covenant. It is in the description. You can click on it, and it has amazing tips to help you to navigate this whole financial thing as a couple. And it's really important. It helps, gives you ideas. There's a contract in there, and which is the covenant basically. And it's just where you map out exactly the way that you want things from where you guys are now, knowing that things can change. But it's something there for you, because a lot of times when you have these discussions about your goals and things, if you don't write it down, then one person heard something and the other person heard something. But if you have it in writing, you guys have it mapped out, and you've actually signed it, then if one person seems to get amnesia about it, then you just go back to it and say, remember number two, we were supposed to be doing this and this and this. And then you guys work through it and talk about it, not fight about it, talk about it, because we have to have kindness, grace, and patience for one another when it comes to our partners. It is so important. So that's what was on my mind today. I'm sending everybody so much light and love, especially around the holidays. I know sometimes it can get tough, but be realistic with your goals, especially around the holidays and spending money, even spending money on your partner. That's even something that you guys can talk about, like holiday spending on your partner. Do we have to spend this much money? Like, we should be doing things for each other throughout the year, not just one big ticket item for Christmas. Like, we can do better than that, right? We need to love each other, show that love through gifts and the things that we do throughout the year. But have a great night, everybody. And remember, you are your greatest value. You are your greatest asset. Take care.